number 4 is remaining. So we will complete that first. As I said earlier that we will be having a lot of extra lectures. I hope you are okay with that.
Yes, sir.
Because I'll be showing you the simulations also. We didn't get enough time for simulations this semester, like what we did for EDA. So I would like to have a lot of simulations also to support the theory. Anyways, I've already shared the screen with you. Is it visible? The OneNote page.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So we are going to start with what is called as a square wave generator. Now we already know that the square wave generator is also called as um, astable multivibrator. Astable or also called as free running multivibrator. We have already seen this device. Just a minute. Okay, we have already seen such a device in EDA where transistors, discrete transistors were used to design an astable multivibrator. In a similar way, instead of transistors now, we are going to make use of the operational amplifier. Now the circuit is very simple actually. It is composed of two parts. If you see carefully, so this part which I am separating right now, does it resemble something that you have already studied? See, the interesting thing over here is that we are having a positive feedback. And all of you know that positive feedback is essential for oscillators. Okay? So this part is actually something which is must be familiar to you by now. What is this? It looks like a Schmidt trigger circuit. Do you remember that? So this looks like a Schmidt trigger circuit. Now the output of the op amp in this case will swing between the positive and the negative saturation. So at one time it will be plus Vsat and next time it will be minus Vsat. So it will swing between these two limits. Okay. So if I draw the waveforms for this circuit, and if I call this as plus Vsat, this as minus Vsat, this is your 0, this is the time axis. So it is expected that the output will be something like this. We are going to see why it is like that. Okay, so this will be the output V out. As you can see, it swings between plus Vsat and minus Vsat. Now let us mark two other voltages. I am exaggerating a little bit. So this is something called as beta into Vsat level. and this is minus beta into Vsat level. Please remember what is beta. We are going to see very soon. Vsat, all of you know. Just to remind, Vsat happens to be 90% of VCC, or sometimes it is taken as VCC minus 1 volt. In David Bell, he uses a convention of VCC minus 1 volt as Vsat, but most of the times we take 90% of VCC. These are all conventions. Now, output of op-amp will be in positive and negative saturation depending on whether VID is negative or positive. You already know that. Look at this VID. What is this VID? It is the differential voltage. Okay, the voltage difference between the inverting and the non-inverting terminals. So depending on the polarity of VID, the output will either go to positive Vsat or negative Vsat. Let us say at the start, voltage across C is 0. So voltage across this capacitor is 0. Right? When we are applying the voltage, that is your supply. So this is your plus VCC. This is the minus VEE. So as soon as you apply the voltage, let us assume that the capacitor voltage across capacitor is 0. So what is the voltage across at the non-inverting terminal? Rather, inverting terminal. What is V1? When capacitor, or let us say VC, I'll call this as VC. Voltage across capacitor is 0. What is the voltage across, what is the voltage V1? Tell me, what is voltage V1? Guys?
Yes, sir.
What is voltage V1? Value of voltage? What is the value of voltage V1? Obviously, V1 is equal to VC, which is equal to 0.
0.
Okay. Now, at that instant, voltage V2. What is voltage V2? Here. This is the voltage V2 at this point.
Non-inverting.
At the non-inverting terminal. So voltage V2, which is at the non-inverting terminal, remember that, is a small value. Why is it small value? Why isn't it 0? Can anyone tell me reason? Because we are not looking at an ideal operational amplifier. So non-ideal or practical is going to have what is called as the output offset voltage. Have you forgotten this? Output offset voltage means what? Even if the voltage between these two terminals, non-inverting and the inverting terminals, is 0, the output voltage is non-zero. That is because of the slight imbalance at the differential input pair of the transistors in the first and the second block of the operational amplifiers. So output offset voltage will be a non-zero value. Okay, and this voltage is, again, you can see that this voltage, which is the output offset voltage, is potentially divided by R1 and R2. You see that?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
agree to that? Do you agree to that? So I'll just draw a partial diagram like this. So you are having some non-zero voltage here, and this is actually, as you can see, this is R2, this is R1. So there will be some voltage here. This is your V2. So this is your output voltage, output offset voltage, and this is potentially divided by R1 and R2, and it appears as V2. All right.
Yes, sir.
So we can say that, therefore, VID is no longer 0, but it is equal to V2. Why? Because V1 is 0.
V1 is 0.
All right.
So,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, there was some distraction here. All right. So have you understood that VID is equal to 0? VID is equal to V2 because V1 is equal to 0. All right. Is this concept clear?
yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So although this V2 is small, it will start driving the operational amplifier into saturation. We already know that a very small value is sufficient for the operational amplifier to start driving it into saturation. So V2 is non-zero, V1 is 0. So there will be some voltage VID. And this VID, what is the polarity of VID? If you call VID as V2 minus V1, so what is this value? It is equal to V2, which is a positive value.
Yes, sir.
So non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier is positive with respect to inverting terminal. So in that situation, what will happen to the output of the operational amplifier? It will start going towards what? Positive saturation or negative saturation?
Positive.
Of course, we cannot guarantee that the output offset voltage is either positive or negative. So if it is positive, so this is a condition, if VOS is positive. If it is negative, in that case, VID will be negative. Have you understood this? We cannot say that VOS is always positive. VOS can be positive or negative. All right.
Yes, sir.
So if output offset voltage is positive, V2 is positive. So initially, if capacitor is not charged, we say that when capacitor is not charged, it will act as, yes, short circuit.
Short circuit.
Short circuit.
Please remember this concept. It will act as a short circuit. So what will be the gain of the operational amplifier now? If you look at this acts as a short circuit. So I'll redraw that for you guys. This is the basic of waveform generator. So, and that is the reason why I'm concentrating more here. So now we have a situation like this. We have this positive here, V2, and this is short circuit. So C is short circuit, and we have like this. And what does it look like? Basically, what does this look like? This part actually looks like an inverting amplifier, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Non-inverting amplifier.
Sir,
If there was a resistor here, what would it resemble? If there was a resistor here, what would it resemble? A non-inverting amplifier, isn't it? Yes or no? Guys, Hello? It
Yes,
resembles
sir.
a non-inverting
Yes, sir.
amplifier, right? So here I can say this is, let us say RF, this is R1 for the time being, and this R1 is equal to 0. So what was the gain for non-inverting amplifier AV? 1 plus RF upon R1, right?
R1.
Now if R1 is 0,
Yes,
what is
sir.
the gain? If R1
So
is
it will
0,
be,
what is the gain?
So 1.
1.
So very large.
sir,
1
very large.
plus infinity. So that is infinity, infinite gain. Or as if the operational amplifier will act as open circuit,
Open circuit.
as open circuit amplifier, right? Open
Yes,
loop
sir.
amplifier rather. Okay?
Yes, sir.
If the gain is infinite, very large, what will happen? So V2 will drive the output quickly to plus Vsat. Remember, we have said that V2 is positive, and that is the reason why the output will go very fast to Vsat. Now, once the capacity, once the output goes to Vsat, this value goes to Vsat here. Vo is equal to plus Vsat. Look at this path. So the value here is Vsat, the resistor we are seeing, and we are looking at the capacitor. So this capacitor will start charging towards Vsat. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I can say that now C starts charging towards plus Vsat through the resistor R. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
So now what will happen? Voltage across capacitor has started rising. So Vc starts rising. Simply means that V1 is also rising, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So as soon as V1 becomes greater than V2, what will happen? If V1
So
now
that
is more than V2, you can see that now VID has become negative.
Yes,
negative.
sir.
So what we can say? Then VID becomes negative. Now if VID becomes negative, what will happen now?
The output will shift to negative
So
saturation.
output is now forced to what?
Negative saturation.
Yes, minus Vsat. Very correct. Now the operational amplifier output is minus Vsat. So the voltage across R1 is also negative. This voltage, isn't it? If this is
Yes.
minus Vsat,
Yes, sir.
now the voltage across R1 is also negative. And how much is that value? R2 or V2, sorry, is R1 divided by R1 plus R2 into what? Minus Vsat.
Minus V, sir.
Now, if V2 itself is negative, so the net differential or voltage difference VID is V1 minus V2 is negative. And this holds the output to minus Vsat. So even if this minus Vsat is now there, so here the V2 is negative, and we have already said VID is what? V2 minus V1.
Minus V1.
So net voltage VID is again negative only. And this negative voltage is what is responsible for keeping the output of the operational amplifier in V minus Vsat. Okay. Now this condition remains until the capacitor discharges. So now look at the condition. Now this is minus Vsat. And now the capacitor will discharge. So what we simply have is the reversal of the current through the capacitor. So it discharges. Okay, na? Now it not only discharges, but it now starts getting charged negatively. Please remember this concept. So now C discharges. Why? Because the C has got a discharge path. Let me draw it this way. So here you are having minus Vsat. Earlier the capacitor was charged. Now remember that this is more positive with respect to minus Vsat. Ground is more positive, no? So now this will start discharging through again R. So capacitor will start discharging through R towards minus Vsat, and even since it is already even less than ground, it will start getting negatively charged. So capacitor discharges and then recharges to negative voltage. Please understand this carefully. But up to what value? Slightly higher than minus V2. See this. So now capacitor is started charging negatively and it goes slightly more than V2. And at that point something again happens. What is going to happen? Now Vc, which is equal to V1, is slightly higher than V2. Means what? What is this condition? If capacitor now, the capacitor voltage, which is equal to the voltage at the inverting terminal, is more negative with respect to V2. What is going to happen? We've already said VID is V2 minus V1.
VID comes
So this
positive
V2
now.
is already negative, okay, and V1 is more negative than that. So V2 minus of minus V1. So it will be minus V2 plus V1. And we have said that V1 is slightly higher than V2. So what is the net polarity of VID?
Sir,
Positive.
positive.
Yes, polarity of VID is
Positive.
So VID is positive. And now if VID is again positive, what is going to happen to the output of op amp? Again,
Shift to positive
op
Vsat.
amp
Positive Vsat.
output is forced to plus Vsat. Now V2 will become R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Remember, now it is plus VSAT.
Yes.
Earlier it was minus VSAT. Are you able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
So what is going to happen
Yes.
to the voltage across the capacitor? That is what is important here.
Sir, can you explain, sir, how C charges and then recharges? Discharges and then recharges.
See, as I told you, capacitor was earlier having a positive charge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when will the capacitor discharge? When it gets a path to the ground or even negative,
Negative path. Yes, sir.
isn't it? So we are having minus VSAT here. So it has already got a path here. Is it? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So this
Charges
positive
and how will it
voltage, yes, positive voltage across capacitor, which was positive, will go to first 0, that is ground,
Yes, sir.
and then start getting negatively charged because this voltage here is minus VSAT. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so here with respect to this, what we can say? We see that it starts with, let us say, minus VSAT, voltage across capacitor, or rather the V2. It starts like this. Discharges like this. Sorry. And again starts charging. So it again starts charging like this. So this is how the voltage across capacitor is charged, it's getting charged. Now your question, which you are asking, that it was charged to this value beta VSAT, right? And then how does it discharge? So as I said, it discharges first like this to ground and then charges to this value again. But as you can see here, it does not completely charge to plus or minus VSAT. Why? Let me ask you a question here. So this capacitor discharges to 0 and then starts charging towards minus VSAT, but it never goes to minus VSAT. Why? Because by the time, while doing that, the polarity of VID changes and that forces the output to again go back to plus VSAT. Are you able to
Yes,
understand
sir.
this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a very interesting thing which is happening. So this is how the oscillations will be sustained. Okay, and the output will be a square waveform. Have you understood this concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the period of this waveform is given as 2 times RC natural log 2 R1 plus R2 divided by R2. This is the time period, and obviously the oscillation frequency is given as 1 by T, that is 2 RC ln 2 R1 plus R2 divided by R2. Now if I make, if R2 is 1.16 times R1, then this simplifies to simply as 1 upon 2 RC. This is the condition. So it is very easy to design for a particular frequency. ठीक है? Is this all right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there is a slight modification to this. For if I want, this is going to give you a 50% duty cycle. What is a duty cycle? For a square wave, what is a duty cycle? If you measure the period, this is the total period T, and if this is T on, this is T off. Okay, so what is a duty cycle? Duty cycle is defined as T on divided by T.
On.
Most of the times it is expressed in 100 in percentage. So this is
Yes, sir.
100%. So if T on is equal to T off, we have a 50% duty cycle. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this actually is having a 50% duty cycle. Let us see the simulation. I'll reshare the screen. Are you able to see the screen? Multi-sim screen?
Yes, sir.
So as you can see, so we have the oscillations here, and they are sustained. And you can verify what is the frequency. Now here you can see that we are having a 50% duty cycle. It means that the on and the off time are same. All right.
Yes, sir.
Please remember that even though I'm using a virtual op amp, I'm having input offset voltage not as 0 but as 2 millivolts. If that isn't there, you probably won't start with the oscillations. Let us see whether we
Yes, sir.
get it or not. We still get it because there is some noise associated with the resistors, which is actually responsible for this thing. Okay, but please make sure that you have the starting point is always having this. Even you can have this 0. Let me see if this works out. It doesn't work. Yes, it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Because we are looking at the ideal operational amplifier with input bias current as 0 and offset voltage also as 0. So whenever you want to use a ideal operational amplifier, make sure that you have this
Offset voltage.
2 millivolts
Zero.
and bias normally as 500 nanoampere. Then only it will start oscillating. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let
Yes,
me
sir.
switch back to OneNote page. Okay. Now, if suppose you don't want, you want to change or have a flexibility of the duty cycle, what will be the modification to the circuit? The modification will be something like this. Try to think of it in this way. This is our capacitor. This is same. Most of the times you have this variable resistor R2 and R1. This is to start the oscillations. Many times if the oscillations do not appear. And here is the difference. So you have something like this. What do you think this is? I'll call this as RA. I'll call this as RB. Don't you see that I'm having different values of resistors different values of different paths for charging and the discharging of the circuit. Right? If I put a diode here, I have different paths for charging and the discharging.
Yes, sir.
So we have TA as 1 upon RA into C, TB as 1 upon RB into C. So this is the on time and the off time. So T is equal to TA plus TB. Of course, this is under the condition R2 is equal to 1.16 times R1. This is the condition. So now you can have different values of RA and RB, and of course you can have the different values of on time and the off time. So with this, you will be in a position to get a asymmetric duty cycle. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are the general requirements of the operational amplifier when you start designing? But before that, I think we will go for the derivation of the time period. This is one important thing which is left out. So derivation of T, that is the time period. So we have beta as R1 by R1 plus R2. Do you remember that we used to call beta as a fraction of output voltage fed back to the input?
Yes, sir.
Don't confuse this with the beta of the transistor, right? So beta is a small part. Basically, beta is a transfer function of the feedback network. ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.
All right. And V2 is either plus beta Vsat or negative beta Vsat. The frequency is determined by the time it takes for the capacitor to charge from minus beta Vsat to plus beta Vsat. You can see it very clearly here. So from this point to this point, isn't it? So that is actually the period. So we can say the frequency is determined as 1 upon T, where T is the time taken by capacitor to charge from minus beta Vsat to plus beta Vsat. So that is how we are going to determine the period. So voltage across capacitor C, which is a function of time, is Vf plus Vi minus Vf into e to the power minus T by Rc, where Vf is the final voltage across capacitor C, which is equal to plus beta Vsat. Sorry, it should be plus Vsat. It is going towards Vsat, no? Plus Vsat. All right. And what is Vi? Is the initial value or initial voltage, let us say. Across capacitor, which is equal to minus beta Vsat. So it is starting to charge towards Vsat. Please remember that. Okay. So I can put down these values. This equation will give me Vsat plus minus beta Vsat minus Vsat into e to the power minus T by RC. This is a standard equation for capacitor charge or charging of capacitor. At T equal to T1, voltage across capacitor reaches beta Vsat. Remember this. Why? Because we are saying that the capacitor charging and discharging is like this. So here we started with minus beta Vsat. Okay, but at this particular time, we'll call this as T1. The voltage across capacitor reaches actually beta Vsat plus beta Vsat. And there actually the switching takes place. You know, the output voltage goes to minus Vsat. So I can say that Vc at T1 is beta Vsat, which is equal to Vsat minus Vsat into 1 plus beta e to the power minus T by RC. Actually, we have to replace this T by T1. So I will replace this. That is the difference. So minus T1 by RC. What we get is T1 equal to RC. If you simplify this, it becomes RC ln 1 plus beta over 1 minus beta. So this is the half period. Okay, because again it is going to, so this is going to be charging and the discharging. So here this is going to be T2, and T2 and T1 are equal in the first case. So T is equal to 2 times T1, and that gives me 2 RC ln 1 plus beta by 1 minus beta, which if you put the value of beta, what is the value of beta?
R1 upon R
Yes.
plus R2.
So if you put this, we arrive at the same equation we saw earlier. And then I say that if R2 is 1.16 times R1, then it simplifies to 2 times RC only, which is a very, very
RC.
simple thing to remember. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with that, we finish with the square wave generator. Both we have seen. Okay. There are some things which we have to take into consideration while designing the operational design this particular circuit, and that is number one. Generally select R1 to be greater than or equal to 10 kilo ohms. We already know the reason why. And two, you have to find out the slew rate, required slew rate as 2 pi FO Vp divided by 10 to the power 6 volts per microseconds. Do you remember what is a slew rate? So the slew rate, required slew rate has to be calculated. The operational amplifier has to be selected whose slew rate is greater than this value for designing the circuit. Okay, na? Other values you can directly select. For example, you can select the capacitor, for most of the times you can select. So start selecting R1 for compute R2 from this equation as 1.16 times R1. ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.
Select capacitor generally as 0.1 microfarad for most of the times. In the audio frequency range, we select capacitor as 0.1 microfarad. Compute R. You already know how to compute R. With this equation, T equal to 2 by R, 2 into RC, isn't it? So what is the value of R? T by 2C, isn't it?
2C.
T-word.
Yes, sir.
That's it. So you'll be given frequency of oscillation, F, from which you can find out the period T, and the design can be completed. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
So now we will look at another waveform generator, which is called as a triangular waveform generator. All right. So the triangular waveform generator. How does it look like? Let us see. So you're going to tell me what are the basic circuits which you are able to identify in this. Just a moment. Okay. One last connection that is remaining is this. So this is C1, this is R1, this is our first op amp, this is our second op amp, A2, this is R3, and this is R2. Now tell me, there are two different circuits in this. Can you find out what are they?
So
I
the
can
second one is non-inverting Smith trigger.
Schmidt trigger. Very good. So this is a Schmidt trigger. Very good. What about this? What about this? You can see it is an integrator.
Yes, sir.
So here you have another output. We'll call this as VO1. Here we'll be calling as VO2. And you'll see that voltage at VO1. So let me draw the figure. So output voltage, this is at VO1 and this is VO2. We expect that voltage over here is going to be a square wave.
Yes, sir.
Because we already know output of a Schmitt trigger is going to be
Yes, sir.
something like this. And at VO1, however, you will have different values. So let me mark these values first. The times. This is T1, T2, and T3. And the voltage at VO1 is going to be something like this. So it's going to be a triangular waveform. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now you can see the integrator output is applied to Schmitt trigger input, and Schmitt trigger output is integrator input. So it is a feedback. Okay. So the integrator will produce a triangular output waveform when it has the square wave input. We already know that basic property of integrator we have already seen when we studied the integrators. Okay, na? And obviously the Schmitt trigger output will change from one saturation level to the other whenever the integrator output becomes equal to or more than UTP or the LTP of the Schmitt trigger. So please understand this very carefully. So this is going to be your UTP and this is going to be the LTP, which are obviously set by R1 and R2 and R3 in this case. Okay. So during the time from instant T1 to T2, so from this T1 to T2, Schmitt trigger output is positive. See this? Schmitt trigger output is positive, which is actually, what is this value? It is plus Vsat. And this is minus Vsat. Now, you are actually charging this, you are actually using the, rather let us say, let us break it down like this. So this is a simple integrator only. Yes, guys?
Yes, sir.
And we know that voltage across capacitor is given as, if I remove this resistor itself, and if I only talk about the charging of the capacitor, 1 by C integral I dt, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So if I make this I constant, what will happen? Voltage will be what? I by C into T,
Yes, into T.
which
Yes,
is a
sir.
ramp,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
isn't it? Which is a
Yes.
ramp. Now we have already derived the equation in integrator, which in fact this I is replaced by the voltage,
Voltage. Yes,
isn't it?
sir.
Because this V or this I is replaced by V by R. If you are having
R.
R here, it will be replaced by, look at this. This was the charging current I. So this will be what? V. This is your V. So this will be V by R.
R.
So if V is constant, R is obviously constant. So I can still remove this out and I get an equation like this, which we have already seen actually. No? You remember
Yes. Yes, sir.
that? So it will be V by this VC, of course.
Arts.
It will be RC into T.
T.
So this is going to be a ramp of some sort, isn't it?
Yes,
That is
sir.
exactly what is happening here. You see the input to your integrator is a constant voltage VSAT.
Yes,
यहाँ पे,
sir.
है ना? So the capacitor, so the output of integrator will be a negative going ramp like this.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है? So that explains why we are getting this slope. So current I1 flows into R1. If I mark this as I1, so I1 flows through R1 charging C1. Obviously, since I is going to be constant, we are going to expect a ramp. So the integrator output changes with a constant rate in negative going direction. Output change is delta V from VO to minus VO. And when the integrator output arrives at the LTP, so here you can see what happened. Okay, I think this was somehow erased. Okay. Okay, so when it arrives at this LTP, what is going to happen? When it arrives at LTP, output is going to switch to minus VSAT, isn't it?
Is that? Yes, sir.
Simple. So if it is going to minus VSAT now, look at what is the input to the integrator. It is a constant minus VSAT, and so it starts
Yes.
charging in the positive direction like this.
Positive direction.
You're getting it?
Yes, sir.
This is how it
So-
really works. Actually, I wanted to finish off with the design of this also, but I think we are out of time now. So we are going to meet again at 5:30. Remember today.
Yes, sir.
Will that be okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. So I will stop here for today.
Thank you, sir.
All right.